Hi everyone, so modifying in permanent makeup has been so popular lately, and I want to show you how to never get this again. This happens all the time, and it's always going to happen. It's always been a thing, and it's such a bad experience for you and the client, and I want to give you what I know about this situation from the past 12 years of experience that I have. In permanent makeup, what I've been seeing on the internet is basically not a lot of information, and the information that is on the internet right now just talks about first grade color theory. Basically that goes like, what's yellow and red? It's orange. How can we fix orange? Oh, we're gonna add green because you can't just put blue in brows. I don't even think they make blue pigment, and if they did, that's kind of weird. So then they put green on top of it. Or then they say, what's blue and red? It's purple. What's missing? Yellow. Put yellow on top. Put a yellow corrector on top. So basically what they're teaching you is how to make brown all the time. And it's not impressive. Any art kid made brown in first grade. Color theory in tattoo ink goes beyond just combining colors as if you're drawing on a piece of canvas. I want to go and tell you about all the things that do affect the way your pigments heal in the skin. So you have black and white, those are always added to these things. This one's kind of thick, this one's really thin. And the reason why I want to tell you a little bit about texture is because that plays a role in how it's implanted in the skin. Colors have strength. At the end, everything turns white in real life. When you go swimming in the pool and you get out of the pool, your hair is a little bit lighter. The sun bleached it. The sun bleaches everything. The hardest color to bleach is blue, okay? Red and yellow are really easy to bleach. That's why blonde girls, when they go to the pool, they come out and their hair is white because they lost their blonde, because now they have white bleach blonde hair because the sun took out all the yellow. Red is a little bit stronger and blue is the strongest. In permanent makeup, these two are gonna leave first. The sun's gonna get these two first. Not only the sun is gonna get these two first, especially if it was an inorganic pigment, inorganic always turns red, and the reason it turns red is not because of the color red, it's because of what it's made out of is an iron oxide, and iron oxide is typically a red-orange. Combined with the scar tissue, especially if you're microblading, you get red brows. And you can't put blue over brows because then you're just gonna have blue brows, even if it's brown for the next 2 months. Then you got stable pigments, which tend to hold in the skin a lot better. They tend to not maneuver as much, but them maneuvering has a lot to do with your method of implantation. So I see a lot of people microblading organic pigments into the skin and wondering why they turn blue even if they use something like an orange. Well, an orange has this in it, literally. On the back, you go CI number 77266, you take an orange pigment that looks orange and you go to the back and it will say CI number 77266. So what ends up happening is the sun will take away these two later on, and then the thinnest, tiniest molecule, which is the black, is gonna stay because this one and this one tend to resonate, not a similar frequency. See, I'm not a scientist or a chemist, but I've been doing this for so long that I noticed that the black ends up staying, the blue ends up staying. How can we fix this? Now, this is really discouraging because you're like, if I use an inorganic pigment, it's gonna turn red, and if I use a stable organic pigment, it's gonna turn blue. What can I do? What you can do is to really think about your method of implementation and the pigment per area that you're doing, and consider removal. You can't keep adding pigment per area. Let's say somebody came in and they got microbladed a year ago and the color was a beautiful blonde. And why I'm saying blonde is because blonde is usually yellow with a little bit of red. But under the yellow and a little bit of red and the orange, there's always a little bit of black. These two left, this stayed. And this one is such a thick pigment, and honestly, it tends to turn gray when it's combined with everything. So now you just have a grayish grayish, bluish, brown color, right? And let's say that the person a long time ago got microbladed. At first, the strokes were like nice and thin, and there was spaces in between the strokes. Over time, the spaces spread, and we'll talk about spreading. Now you got the pigment spread. Now the strokes are closer together, they're beginning to blur. So let's say you go and you take your orange and you put that over, you know, now you're like, yay, I have brown again. But now the red and yellow leave with the sun in just 3 months, really. And now you got more of that carbon and whatever that's left of the minerals that's left in the skin. And now they start spreading. Let's say you do another correction. So then by the end you have like really blue brows. They're just so blue and they're so ugly, and you can't keep correcting them because you just made the problem a lot worse. Because at first you could have just had them go for like laser, or you could have even done some like removal and removed some of that, whatever that's left in the skin, and started all over again, which would have been better. But because you kept trying to put a solution that's not really a solution, now you end up with this. And that is something that I've seen time and time over in our career. Now, I really do believe that you should not be cutting or microblading with an organic pigment because it spreads a lot more, because organic pigments are typically thinner, a little bit thinner. And when you're cutting, we'll explain that here. When you're cutting, you got the epidermis, dermis, fat, and bone. Let's say you have the perfect depth, perfect pressure, you're putting it right between the dermis and epidermis, everything is fine. But because you're cutting, that pigment is gonna spread more. It just is, because you're not implanting. When you're tattooing, you're going like, and you're depositing in the skin at a precise area. When you're cutting, I mean, the skin has to heal, it has to come back together. It just spreads. Microblading spreads. It really does. I don't care how great of a microblader you are. You're not implanting the ink. Even if you were to take the microblade itself and just go up and down with it, it's going to be better than scratching the skin, making it bleed and ripping it apart. So if you do want to microblade, literally do it like you were hand poking. That would make a lot more sense as far as locking in the ink. And then I think a lot of people don't even talk about carriers. So why would you cut with an alcohol-based organic pigment? It's gonna spread. If you want to cut the skin, you should use a glycerin-based, I prefer inorganic pigment, and that way your pigment won't move around as much over time. So your problem is coming from the ink really moving around in the skin, and the compounds, the chemicals really just coming apart. Like, let's pretend this is the compound and they're all mixed, and this would make what? A beautiful brown. These 4 markers would make literally a pretty brown. But as they're in the skin, this tends to go, this tends to like be over here, this tends to like be the most relevant. They start to, I guess, become their own thing, really depending on the sun, the immune system, everything. We have a skull here, and the reason why I have a really ugly skull, the black parts are supposed to resemble emptiness, and if you touch your own skull, you will see that you have dips. Like over here, you can feel your bones. I can feel literally my temple bones going into my skull. I can feel my cheekbones. Over here, you have no bone. That's why it's always hollow. There's no bone. You got your teeth. Over here, your chin, people's chin, they sometimes protrude more. Sometimes they don't have a heavy chin. They need chin implants or anything. Like, depending on where the bone lays on your skin, your bone looks something like this. So if this is your bone, then you got a fat layer on top, and then you got the dermis and epidermis layer. So your body is not like a flat surface. So when you tattoo, your depth has to change based on the surface, right? So let's say you're tattooing this beautiful brown color into the skin, and the bone area in the skin gets more raised over here. So you have to like hit in between the dermis and epidermis, and when you come to this area, you have to lighten your pressure and like change your depth a little bit, because it's not the same skin as it is here, so then you can get the same color. Because if you continue the same depth, what ends up happening is this area will get blown out. And what is a blowout anyway? A blowout is when the ink is like here now, and because it's too much into the skin, it starts to spread. So instead of a line looking nice and crisp, it looks kind of like that, and it always has sort of a shadow around it. And you can't really color correct that. And I feel like I see a lot of ink spreading and blowouts and stuff like that when you're cutting into the skin. So that's why, first of all, I don't like the whole idea of microblading anymore. I think it's outdated. I've seen some great work, but I just don't think it's the proper way to implant ink into the skin. I truly believe that. But if you are implanting with a tattoo machine, you just really have to be careful about your depth. Now, let's say that the color in the blowout, you don't like it. You have to remove it. You can't put green, yellow, orange over it. You have to remove the color and then start over again and really hit the right depth. So in end result, after me saying all this stuff, what I'm really trying to tell you is fixing or modifying color is not as simple as mixing blue, red, and yellow to get brown, because brown isn't really brown. At the back of every ink bottle, where whatever brand you get, you're gonna see that colors are made out of using red, yellow. I don't think we use blue in permanent makeup. Green, white, and black. I mean, even the brightest orange sometimes has some black in it. And the way those colors separate over time and how much pigment is in that skin and what method you use to put, all that plays in a role. The carriers play a role, like all of it plays a role. Don't just keep putting green and all the weird stuff in the skin. Sometimes you just gotta get it out, laser it out. That's all I want to say.